believe my whole life has prepared me for this moment.
Patty,
and I'm not sitting down when I see Bobby Cutts.
Patty, what was going through your mind when he walked in the court?
I can't really verbalize the things that were going through my mind, but I wanted to make sure that he knew I was there.
That was Patty Porter, the mother of murdered Ohio woman Jessie Davis. She was outside the courtroom yesterday where accused killer Bobby Cutts was arraigned. He's being held on $5 million bond. His girlfriend, Jessie, was missing for about a week before her body was found in a park Saturday. Cutts is the father of her son, and Davis's relatives have said he is the father of the baby girl she was due to deliver July 3rd. Cutts has been charged with 2 counts of murder, and a former classmate is also charged with obstruction of justice. Cutts' relationship with Davis is just one facet of his complicated personal life. Investigators are looking into the other women and children in his life as they try to fill in the blanks about a man with a long legal history. Rick Alexander is a former prosecutor who now works with Coker Law. Rick, thanks for being here to give us some more insight into this case. It seems to have gripped the country. We know Cutts has histories and children with other women, at least 2 other women with whom he has children. How will his personal relationships play into this criminal case? Or will they?
A lot of it won't. A lot of that depends, and really any kind of prior history is only going to be allowed to be heard by the jury if something in that history is relevant to what happened in this case. And in regards to that, it's really something that's very much like a pattern, like an MO sort of. If a person charged with a crime has a habit and there are prior instances of him doing the same specific types of things, and it's not enough just to say, well, he got in a fight with his other girlfriends. It has to be something fairly specific, a pattern. You know, he goes out drinking, he comes in and he does the same choking, something fairly specific. That stuff can then possibly become important if it relates to what happened in this case.
Right, but so far we're not seeing any type of history like that, except for one case. One of the mothers, which he had a child with, he is accused of breaking into her home apparently when she was inside with another man.
Right.
Yeah, so that's potentially the only other thing that prosecutors will bring up in this case.
From what we've heard so far, and there's a lot that we haven't heard. After the Nifong scandal, I think a lot of people are being careful about what they say to the press.
You're talking about the district attorney with the
Yes.
Duke lacrosse case.
Yes.
You're his defense attorney. You
Yes.
are Bobby Cutts' defense attorney. What are you doing right now for damage control?
First thing I'm going to do is get him to stop talking. He's done himself irreparable harm, probably already. He spoke to the police all week long, and as a police officer, he ought to know better than that. And then he spoke to the press as well and had an interview. And, you know, the more times he tells the story, the tougher it is, and they can use those words against him. So that's his biggest mistake. The other thing is you want to try to refocus on the evidence, and at this point, I think the criminal defense attorney is just trying to find out, what does the state have? I mean, what information is there? What is the evidence against him?
Let's talk about the woman that is charged alongside with him. She is only facing a charge of obstruction of justice. Police contend she may have helped Cutts cover up the crime scene. What do you have to say about her?
Well, I think what they're going to try to do, the state of Ohio is going to try to get her to turn her testimony. They'll offer her a deal, and then she'll come and testify and explain everything that they did, what she found, what she saw, what Bobby Cutts told her. She can be a dangerous witness for the defense.
For the defense, she could be dangerous. Because obstruction of justice is not, it's a serious charge, but in the scheme of a murder case, not that serious. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's interesting, that's the charge and not accessory after the fact. So we're not clear just from what we're getting or the charges exactly what her role was. So it may be statements he made to her that may be relevant. We just don't know.
Rick Alexander, thanks for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your time. Coming up here on the morning show, the graphic details will make you wince, but it's what one man had to do to stay alive. He struggled to save himself from a sinking boat. The painful life and death decision he had to make. Plus, the latest fight over free speech centering around that 40-foot banner right there. It reads, "Bong hits for Jesus."